All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome to this video. As you guys saw in that montage that makes me look way cooler than I am, this is my new baby. It's a 2009 Harley Sportster 1200 Nightster. I don't know if that's the order you say those in or not, but just picked it up last week. The weather has not been fantastic, so I haven't been able to drive it as much as I want to, but I've already probably gotten like 10 hours on it. Driving bikes is definitely dangerous and like gives me a little bit of anxiety because it's just like you can do everything perfectly, and if someone just doesn't see you or makes a mistake, then you know you're just dead or like a quadriplegic. But the rush I get from riding this bike and just like the satisfying, like how satisfying it sounds, it's just fucking so, like it's so much fun. I'm so amped to have this. It kind of scratches my itch a little bit too for like having a sick vehicle. I've been wanting a new BMW M3, but I've been waiting to get that until like I can afford it like completely justifiably. I'm not gonna be that guy that like drives a sick car and is barely making, you know, ends meet everywhere else. So this kind of helps scratch that itch a little bit. Makes me feel cool without having to spend, you know, 120 grand on a vehicle. So I'm gonna turn it on for you.
Yes, sir.
So the other thing about this bike, like there's a couple of like kind of custom parts to it. Like it has like this skull gas cap and like some of the other like accents on the bike, like custom grips and stuff that I don't really care too much about. But the thing that I do definitely care about, it has Vance and Hines pipes on it. So like these pipes are not the pipes that come on the bike. Like these don't even have a muffler. Yeah, not too shabby, eh?
I gotta say, I'm a fan.
I gotta say, dude, like it's, for a first bike, I couldn't be happier. I talked down to 7,500, and then I was like, I'll just, you know, I'm expecting to put like 500 to $1,000 in just right away, because I knew I wanted new bars. I knew I liked the pipes, but I knew I wanted new bars. So I ordered the new bars. You also have to order new brake cables when you get new bars, new harnesses and stuff like that. So that ended up being like another $1,000. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is I wanna basically black it out over time, but I'm gonna put a fat back tire on it, and then I'm gonna wrap the pipes so that the pipes are black.
Sick.
But yeah, dude, she'll fucking cruise too. I only ever do the speed limit, but if I wanted to do twice the speed limit, it would probably do it. Not that I know. Dude, actually the other day, I was like, you know what, I should check my tire pressure. So I didn't have a tire pressure gauge, so I went to Canadian Tire, grabbed a tire pressure gauge. Front tire's supposed to be at 30, back tire's supposed to be at 40, and they're at like 10 each.
Nice.
So I was ripping this thing with like dangerously low tire pressure, so I'm lucky to fucking be filming this video right now. Fuck, I'm feeling like we might need to go to Mizu's Sushi tonight.
What?
Oh, dude, this is the first time I've ever taken that high stim jam pre.
Yeah.
And that should be hitting, dog. These are real bad girls. I'm fucking on one today. This is wild. It's a good thing I didn't drive the bike here today, because I would have fucking crashed.
Dude, you had half of the energy here.
Not half.
Yeah, you did.
No. That's some of it.
And then your high stim pre.
And then I had to scoop a respawn too.
They're small. When you get bigger, they're small. You see this small like penis.
Alright, so pendulum squat, this is the first time, I've already explained on my Instagram, but this is the first time that I've done it in a vlog, so I'll just give you guys some brief pointers. Big thing with pendulum squat is it's the benefit of the pendulum squat is that you're able to get into a super deep range of motion and leverage the quads over the hip musculature when you're in the very bottom. So half repping the pendulum is fucking stupid. Don't do that. Drop the fucking ego. Nobody fucking cares how many plates you do on the pendulum. Number two, don't put your feet all the way up to the top of the platform because that's just gonna maximize hip flexion over knee flexion. You're gonna get a lot of knee flexion, but the leverage of the quads, you're not gonna have leverage to move the load, so all the tension will be on the hips. So you wanna bring your feet as far down the platform as you can without your heels coming up too much. And then the last thing too is the safety. Some people put the safety up too high and then kind of bounce off the safety. That completely defeats the purpose of the movement. There's a ton of really beneficial tension in the very bottom when your knees are maximally bent. That's where you want to spend a lot of time. So reducing the tension on the muscles by bouncing off the bottom, off the safety in the bottom, just completely defeats the purpose. So toes or feet as low as you can without your heels coming up too much. Push your back into the pad. Don't turn your feet out too much. You want to keep your feet mostly straight, your toes I mean, mostly straight. And then, like I said, you don't want to put them up too high and you want to spend a lot of time on the bottom. So I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm maximal knee bend right now, but my knees are still facing forward. Whereas if I put my feet all the way up at the top, I can go all the way to the bottom, but now my knees are facing up and my quads, knee extension doesn't have any leverage to move this load. You want to keep your feet in a position where knee extension is going to be the primary driver behind moving the weight. So feet low, toes mostly forward, slow into the bottom, spend a little bit of time here, and then drive your hips into the pad. And that's how to use the pendulum.
Snap.
that?
I'm just warming my knees up, bud. Fuck you. So the biggest mistake I see with leg extension is people just getting on it and just fucking just gripping it and ripping it. That's fun, but it's a really good way to work really hard without really producing as much growth stimulus as you could be, and that's just going to be harder on your knees. When you're doing a super isolated movement like a leg extension or a hamstring curl or whatever, or a preacher curl like for your arms, you want to make sure that you are doing it in a way that is loading the target muscle through every single fucking millimeter of the range of motion. And it's gonna look a lot slower. Don't go extra slow on purpose, just go as slow as you need to make sure that the quads move in the weight for every millimeter of the range of motion. How many times am I gonna say that? And then but then go as fast as you can while making sure that the target muscle is what's producing the movement. So you'll see what I'm about to do, and that'll be the example, but that's what I see a lot of times. People just go on the extension and just fucking throw the weight around. You are gonna get a stimulus doing that, it's just not gonna be as effective.
All I am is a man. I want the world in my hands. I hate the beach, but I stand in California with my toes in the sand. Use the sleeves of my sweater. Let's have an adventure. Head in the clouds, but my gravity centered. Touch my neck and I'll touch yours. You and those little high-waisted shorts. Oh.
Buddy's losing his fucking marbles. Do not forget that in my fucking car.
Well, not, sir.
You're gonna forget
What
it.
if I do?
I'm throwing it out.
You wouldn't do such a thing.
Call
You
my
definitely
bluff.
would.
Call my bluff. Do you know how many things of my brother's that he's left in my car I've thrown out? That ought to teach him. All right, so there's a leg workout. Fucking sent it today. First time taking the high stim jam pre-workout, and that should be fucking fuego. That's good.
It's jamming, eh?
Dude, okay, yeah, I'm just full serious right now. That's good shit. It's good pre. If you're in Canada, like me, but you can't get it, that sucks. Sorry. Because it's fucking heat. It's sick. Fuck, that was mean. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. But yeah, it's good. Trained really hard. I've just been feeling better and better since weaning off my SSRI. So I used to take 20 milligrams every day, and I've slowly gotten down to now I take 10 milligrams every day. So we've halved my dose. Feeling good still. So that's good. And my recovery is better now that I'm on a lower dose, because ultimately what we are 95% sure is that I've been dealing with mild serotonin syndrome for the last 3 years. So if you want to look that up, it's basically just like a surplus of serotonin. And we think specifically my issue wasn't that I wasn't producing enough serotonin, but it was that my transportation of that serotonin was down-regulated, so it wasn't able to get to where it needed to go. I don't really understand all of it, and I'll probably do a little bit more of an in-depth kind of analysis or summary of it in another video after I've done a little bit more research so that I understand a little bit more myself. You know, ask the people who do know what they're talking about more questions so that I can explain it better myself. But that is all to say that now that I'm coming down from my higher regular dose of serotonin, my SSRI, that I feel better, so I'm able to push myself harder in the gym. And yeah, that's what today was. Fucking sick workout. So crushed legs, and now just gotta get some stuff at the grocery store, so we're gonna bring you guys along for that. Hey, come on, let's go. Hey, yeah, you, come on, let's go. We got fermented, like probiotics. So this is kimchi, and then this is fermented, well, it's a sauerkraut, but it's red sauerkraut. Red beet and cabbage sauerkraut. Anyway, it's fermented, so fuck off.
Good for gut health.
Yeah, so I didn't really mention this in my last day of eating video, but I've been eating a
tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of like kimchi and or sauerkraut on all my meals. For a little while, in my last video, I mentioned that I was only doing that when my guts were allowing it because I thought that the probiotics were what was making me fart a lot. If you guys remember in my last video, I was mentioning tooting quite a bit. And my toots at the gym were pungent, real pungent.
Real hot.
Yeah, hot toots. But I think now that it's more so my fiber intake. So the other source of probiotics that I get is kefir. As you guys saw in my last video, I put that in my morning shake. It's just another probiotic.
All right, so I'm just gonna quickly go through kind of the reasoning why I eat this stuff. Excuse the mess on my fucking table here. Josh and I have been kind of working today. I do actually eat cream of rice, but that's Josh's, so. Yeah, so leafy greens, kale, frozen kale, and spinach. I don't think have to explain why leafy greens are good for you. Very nutrient dense, but they're not very bioavailable. So I eat the kale with my eggs, which is higher fat content food, and then I eat the spinach with one of my ground beef meals. Again, a little bit of higher fat content. Fat slows digestion down, and the longer that these kinds of foods like leafy greens are in your digestive tract, the more opportunity there is to actually like absorb the nutrients from them, because otherwise they're not very bioavailable. So even though there's lots of nutrients in them, we as we digest them can't necessarily access them. So it's important to eat them with higher fat foods so we can slow that digestion a little bit to absorb more of it. As I kind of shittily explained in the grocery store, probiotics. So we've got kimchi and sauerkraut, and then kefir. So all probiotics, like I said, just really good for gut health. Especially if you're like bulking. Well, even if you're cutting, because as you're cutting, you're probably not eating a ton of nutrient dense foods. So just always a good idea to be kind of supplementing or helping your gut health with foods that have like a lot of microbiota. I think that's the right word. White potato, just because my appetite's still pretty high for where my calories are at right now, so I'm just eating white potato instead of like a ton of rice because it's just a little bit more satiating, a little bit more filling. And then I briefly explained in my last video that pineapple I think is a really underrated fruit. Helps with digestion. There's a bunch of other nutrients in it that are beneficial in other contexts. Unfortunately, since my last video, I still haven't looked up what those things are specifically, but you just gotta take my word for it or Google it yourself. But pineapple, really good, underrated fruit. So that's a little haul for today. Just kind of giving you guys some brief insight as to why I eat with the foods that I eat. And yeah, that's the end of the video. I really appreciate you guys watching. Me crush legs and brag about my motorcycle and just be a fucking dickhead as always. So thank you guys very much, and I'll see you in the next vid.